everybody, Doe Cookie back, and I'm here to do a pre-recorded review of Foodie Beauty's Q&A Part 2. Now, I was going to do it as a live stream, but I wanted to try to see how this all worked because it's a new part of my live streams, my StreamYards, and I just wanted to see what the effect was. Now, you're probably going to see some weird light over here. Where is it? Here. My window's open. It is hot as balls today, and I don't have the aircon in this room, so I've had to open the window. I didn't want to because it's ruining my ambiance, but the ambiance is not as important as my comfort. So ignore the window. Now, I hope this sounds okay because you probably can hear a little bit of background noise. It's probably very quiet, but it's still there, and I apologize. I don't have the bird sounds today, but hopefully I'll be enough. So I wanted to just quickly run over the Q&A and here are my thoughts and feelings. Feel free to comment anything that's of importance that you think I should know if I've missed it, and I always go back and read my comments. So let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to...
She's very low. Let's turn her up.
Part 2 of Q&A series I'm doing. I'm just trying to answer all your guys' questions. So let's get right to it. I know that I've announced that we have like 4 channels on the go, and we have to get...
Doesn't need the revenue, but she is highly plugging the 4 channels. So far we have the gaming channel, which is Sala's. I have not even dipped over his channel in ever. I don't, or maybe once at the very beginning. That was it. Nothing there. Not even remotely interested in the gaming stuff. Like not even a sliver. The ASMR channel, the couples channel, and the Chantal show. Rebranded once again. But we don't need revenue.
And we have so many other things going on with Ramadan. I'm really behind on editing. I do have some series of videos I'm going to do on this channel regarding my Ramadan experience and my Kuwait experience in general. So just be patient with me. I'm a little bit behind on the...
I had thought she said a couple of videos again when she was angry at everyone. It's like, we've done everything you can in Kuwait. There's nothing more to see. What do you want? Like she was literally getting angry at us for not showing us more when she said they've done everything in Kuwait. Now, I was not convinced that that was everything to see in Kuwait. And apparently she's found some new stuff to do. Funny.
Editing. So we'll get there. So let's get to it.
And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to sound petty, and it is. The crooked the crooked head covering with half an ear popping out, with one side pulled halfway forward. It almost looks like it's being pulled and twisted off. It bothers me the entire video, but that's just a bugbear for me. I don't know if it's bothering anyone else. It literally feels like she's got it caught on something, like she's got it caught in a car door and she's trying to walk away and it's getting pulled off. It's askew. Can she not feel it or see it?
All right, so just going to continue with the questions. Goral World Oracle asks, question, why haven't you sought out paid partnerships and sponsors? There are apps you can join that will help with that. So there's like a few reasons. One of those reasons is that I don't really like advertising other people's products.
She was happy to advertise Nada's channel. Even in the beginning, she was talking about Roman's channel. She pumps up the things that she likes. She talks about brands and stuff all the time. Lush goes nuts. I don't think it's because she doesn't like to advertise other products. I think it's because she just doesn't get offered them because she is not a good brand ambassador. She's not the face people want to put out to promote their product. She probably just doesn't get offers.
Unless I really, unless it's something that I really enjoy. For example.
So who would her sponsors be? Burger King, McDonald's, for a while there, that the pub place that she used to like to get the pot pies from. Any food related businesses, because that's where her passion lies.
Lush, which doesn't happen because they don't really do sponsorship videos. Maybe they do now, but they didn't for a long time. I just really don't enjoy it.
And to be honest, I don't think Foodie would be a great ambassador for Lush for many reasons that we know of. But she has been using their bath products, their skin products, their hair products for a really long time. Like the entire time that I've been watching her, she has been on, excuse me, the Lush party train. And I've not seen an improvement in her skin texture, the quality of her skin, the condition of her skin, her rosacea, her hair doesn't, like, what, we don't see her hair now, but before she shaved her head, there was nothing fabulous about it. It didn't look any different. And she's been using the crap out of Lush for years, and it's made no difference. So how long do you use a product before you just go, it's not for me? She wouldn't be a good ambassador for Lush. No matter how much she spends on it, she doesn't make the product look desirable.
It's just not something that, I can't be fake about it. Like, I can't just promote a product if I don't really like it. Maybe in the past I was more enthusiastic about it as a new YouTuber. I used to do things like Teami and all that. Although Teami, I did drink their tea, so I did like some of their products.
But I don't remember the tea. I don't remember a tea, but I didn't watch her for that far back. So that's maybe something that's out of my realm, because I came in just around the Nada arc. So I think there was some chatter about a ring. There was I know about the cold water bottle thing. And I think there was a ring that she did the worst. I think she was compelled by the company. They sent it to her for free. She either had to send it back or give them the money, or they're going to take legal action because of the product. She did the worst review on a ring only because she had to, I think.
But I'm not going to promote a company if I don't use their products. I do get emails from companies. I think one was like a protein cereal, and I was like, I wouldn't eat that. So why am I going to advertise it just for money? So that's not something I do. Second,
she eats protein balls, and she made those energy balls. So why wouldn't she eat a protein cereal? We know she eats cereal. She likes Captain Crunch. And we know she eats protein products. So why wouldn't she be eating a protein cereal, especially if it was free and that she could potentially get paid for eating it? Of course she would. She just never got offered it, I'm sure. That's probably a fib.
I think, they expect you to have kind of a more cleaner image when it comes to promoting their product.
I'd say some of the rants and speeches that you've made about women, that you've made towards domestic violence, SA, racist, the things that you've said about Nada, the things that you've said about reactors, the way you've physically presented herself, I would say that I was eating peanuts. I've got something caught in my throat. Honey-covered peanuts, delicious. Would really put sponsors off. She is not just messy, she is problematic for a brand. Like, she's said and done things that a brand could not smooth over, put it that way.
They're a company. I get that. I totally get that. So, and whatever, I'm totally fine not promoting any companies. It's just something I'm not really into.
She can promote her own husband's fragrance products. She could be the model for them, the spokesmodel, the spearhead for all their promotions. Even though they do not want to sell it to anybody outside of Kuwait, they're just focusing on Kuwait for now. We don't want to, even though they have an audience begging for their products, Herbeezers, they're not going to ship overseas, which is fine. Could cost $1 million. They might not have the logistics set out for it yet. That's fine. But as far as like promoting it, they've done a lot more work trying to dissuade people from trying to get hold of the product than to actually buy it.
All right, this is a comment that I will comment on from Kimby.
Well, it is a Q&A, so I'm assuming anything that you read out, you are going to be responding to. But thank you for clarifying.
And thank you, the previous person, for your question. I love the direction your channel was going up to the B-Day when you met Frank. The interaction between you and the audience seemed very sincere, and the chemistry was awesome. You seemed more genuine and even happy a lot of times. It would be so awesome to one day see a Beezer reunion where we can face call and we can put faces to names.
There is no way in the world that anybody from her back history would probably open up to a DM or a message from her, would want to put their face and name in conjunction with anything that this one's had and done. Why would anybody want to watch anything like that? It would just be a screaming match, a shouting match. It would be as fake as hell if anybody did come on, because nobody wants to be associated with her or with each other. It's too messy. And I didn't watch her before that. I literally started in, I know who Frank was. That was literally some of the first streams that I saw. But as far as I could tell, a lot of her content then was not a lot of live streaming. That was just when the live streaming started. The reason she was still likable is because it was mostly edited content. Her personality was not on show a lot. Her real personality. There was snippets, there was a taste, there was a flavor. People got a whiff of how crappy she was, but a lot of it was edited. So it was quite easy to fake genuine feeling. She could edit out the really terrible things that she would say, or mess ups, or slip ups, or bad language. She could really paint a picture of who she wanted people to believe she was, more so than the actual roots of who Foodie is, which we got to know during the live stream era.
Thank you, Kimby, for your comment. So I was thinking about this a lot, and I sometimes do miss things about how I used to do my content and everything. Obviously, we all miss things from our past, but mentally, spiritually.
No, past doesn't exist. The past is irrelevant. We don't talk about the past. The past is gone. Because you can't miss the good things and not talk about the bad things. The past is either on the entirety of it or none of it.
Everything is so different about me.
There's nothing different about Foodie. At the guts of it, there's nothing different. She's the same. She's just not stoned out of her head and she wears a hijab.
Not personality-wise, I still, I'm...
Personality-wise, she's exactly the same. She's still a bigoted, ignorant, nasty individual, smug, narcissistic, reactive, impulsive, mean person. Changing her faith and gaining a husband and moving to another country, you would think any one of those three would encourage change in a forward direction, other than the husband, because that's not really something that's going to make someone change. But religion and the change of lifestyle or perspective from life, because it would shift you. You would think that would make you sort of like look at your life a bit differently. But no, none of those three things have literally changed the way she deals with the world in any way.
I'm kind of silly. I still do.
Silly? I'm just looking for someone who thinks she's silly. Nobody would silly would not be the word that I would use in any way, shape, or form to describe Chantal. Stupid, but that's different from silly. Mean. Ridiculous. Silly's not one of them.
Struggle a lot with mental health problems and with anger issues and things like that, and being triggered and stuff like that. That hasn't really changed much. I mean, I'm doing maybe a lot better than not lashing out every single day, but I would say that
she's lashing out. She's just lashing out privately. I can imagine she's punching air, she's chucking tanty, she's in a fowlie. Sala will be like, "What's up, hun?" She's like, as she throws a dirty dish into the sink amongst all the other dirty dishes in a cramped little kitchen in her little apartment that she loves so much, and good for her. But I can imagine she's still raging, just not on a live stream and shouting at people through the screen. She's just doing it at home in her abaya, in her hot little apartment.
The type of life I had then attracted a certain audience. Right now I'm in a transition period, and a lot of that audience has fallen off or has...
Yeah, she's going from nasty, mean live streamer, former mukbanger, to a cosplaying, reverted Muslim, fake wife, wannabe Arab wife. That's what she is. She wants to remove her identity as a Canadian. She wants to be considered culturally Middle Eastern because she's now got a Middle Eastern husband and she lives in a Middle Eastern country. She wants to dissolve Foodie Beauty and morph into this vision and version of Chantal.
It's been blocked, yes, because a lot of it was a trolling. A lot of it was sometimes, when I wasn't in my right state of mind, as I was.
And yes, I've noticed the constant hand waving while she's got the ring on. She doesn't do this motion. She doesn't talk like this when she's not wearing the ring. Most of the time she'll have her hand down, but when she's got the ring on, she's all like, and yes, and that's my perspective, and Sala and I are going to go and do ASMR.
I was going through a lot, and I documented all of that a lot. I was going through an abusive relationship. I was going through...
No, we saw a crackhead chasing another crackhead, you going on live stream, reaming people out, falling asleep, drugged out of your mind on THC. That's what we saw. We saw someone putting themselves through things. We saw someone chasing bad people and bad situations. That's what we saw. We didn't see a DV abuse victim going through a DV situation. That is questionable. We don't know the facts. We don't know all of what happened. But from what I saw, that's not what I saw. That's not what I experienced watching Chantal.
Addictions, several addictions. And
what were the addictions? We know that for a little while it was Coca-Cola. We know she was and still is addicted to the THC, because if she got home to Canada today, we know that by the end of the day she would be high on edibles. The fact that she can't get a hold of them is the only reason that she's probably not stoned in this moment right now. Food addiction, ever present. It's been present wherever she's gone. Cuba, Kuwait, Canada. That's her. That's why she is where she is and how she is. It's all got to do with her food addiction, and her financial problems have got a lot to do with it as well. Like any addiction, if it affects more than one part of your life consistently on the daily, detrimentally, it's an addiction. And we know that the way Chantal consumes food's affected her health, the way she's consumed food by buying takeaway and the amount of takeaway and how frequently she buys takeaway affected her financially. It's affected her relationships. It's affected how she's talked to people, how she treats people, her anger, her food aggression. And then again, the kinds of food she eats also affects her physically, like the kind of food she's eating, fatty, oily, salty, that they mess with the brain, they mess with the body chemistry. So her food addiction is probably the thing that has really messed up her being at the core, physically and emotionally.
I just needed an audience, to vent to open up to. It was like therapy for me.
No, therapy is where you get advice from a trained professional who can help you work through a problem or understand a problem, or actually even expose you to seeing a problem that you don't see there. It isn't just someone to sit there and have you spew words at. That's not therapy. That's venting. That's dumping. That's trauma dumping. That is not therapy. Therapy is there to heal. It's to help move past a wound, or at least recognize a wound or behavior, or understand the damage done to you to make it easier to live with. That is not therapy. Chatting and yelling at your beezers in a members only chat is not therapy.
And I'm not saying that an audience is a replacement for
you just
therapy.
did.
That's not what I'm saying, but it still helped me. So I had a community of
it helped you because you made money from it, and it let you sustain your lifestyle the way that you saw it.
There for me, and I really appreciate that at that time of my life.
Where are they now, though? You pushed away cheeseburgers. The other two, can't even remember their names. What was her name? Lamborghini or something like that. Lambo. And then there was the other one. Like, where are they now? They were your three most loyals, and now Missy Moo's gone. And you've got some others trying to vie for the right hand of Chantal, but you don't really have anybody that's been in there for a long time. You've just got lurkers that are coming to the front because they can see, oh, maybe I can get in a good favor now.
But now things are different in my life, and honestly, I don't know where people say that I'm not happy. I think it's just speculation. You don't really see what's going on when the camera's off.
But behind the scenes. Okay, it's always behind the scenes. You don't act like somebody who's happy. You don't talk like somebody who's happy. You don't react like somebody who's happy. You don't have experiences of somebody you don't have happy experiences. Like, you may be awkwardly giggling and making weird faces at Salah and smiling, but there's a tension and an awkwardness there that just doesn't cross over into happiness. Maybe we are misreading it. Maybe we just don't understand your body language. But from what we can physically see, it doesn't look like happiness. It looks like forced awkwardness, basically.
A lot more at peace right now with my life. I enjoy that I'm not on any substances. I enjoy that. Yes, I still struggle with food, but that I think will always be the case.
The breath it's when you say you're struggling with something, struggling means you're usually trying to fight the urge, or you're actively working against the thing causing your problem. From what I've seen from watching her, she literally was doing so many live streams back to back to back to back. She was eating in every single one of them. I have never watched a channel where someone was eating for so long and so much for so many streams. It was just and whenever, even the ASMR that she's doing, it's all food related. Whenever she talks about experiences, senses, memories, it's food related. She's not struggling with it. She's just living within it. She doesn't, and I'm not a professional, but I'm just somebody looking from the outside in, and I can see that it doesn't seem like she's struggling against it at all.
I'm a lot happier in a lot of different ways. So the audience, dynamic is not the same as it was. I understand that it might have been it was a lot more fun back then for certain people.
It was fun for Chantal. The only person having fun was Chantal. Nobody else watching it was having fun. Well, not the Nada arc anyway. There was no fun there.
I think I'm just, growing up, and I'm just, yes, at my fine ripe age. But I think maturing as a person has nothing to do with your age number, with your chronological age at all.
She would have to say that because she's at that midpoint where she's not young anymore, but she's not considered old. She's not a mature person. She's an infant age-wise. So she can't say, oh, I'm getting old now, so I'm mature, because that would mean a much older person than her would then be considered more mature emotionally. She has to say it's to do with mentality. So I could say that there are 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds out there that are much more mature than Chantal because they've got their shit together. But she doesn't want to hear that because she wants to hear that anybody who's younger is more immature than her because that would invalidate her, i.e. the Evie situation. He's a young man. He's a child. He seems to be more mature than Chantal at her 39 years of age. She doesn't understand what maturity is. People would say that some of my tastes and decisions are immature because of some of the things that I like, and I would, granted, there are a lot of people, but a lot of people don't think there is. There are a lot of people in my age group that do like some of the music that I like and dressing the way that I am. There's a lot of us, but it's not atypical generally for someone my age. But I don't care. I don't care. But the thing is like, what was I saying? But the way I run my life is very responsible and very mature and very adult. I do the things that everybody else does. I pay my bills, I pay my mortgage, I save my money, I make sure all my needs are met before my fun stuff is met. That's how people run their lives. I don't make rash decisions, but all of my decisions are not considered mature. But the ones that aren't are not the important ones. My taste in music, whatever, the lipstick I like to wear, the way I do my hair, the way I like to put my clothes on, these are unimportant things. They are allowed to be immature in my eyes. You can dress however you want. You can listen to whatever you want. You want to watch whatever you want. But when it comes down to the guts of it, maturity comes with your decision making and the way you treat other people. And in that vein, foodie is very immature.
See that a lot on here online. So I just I'm trying to mature even more and my life is in a different direction. I never expected it to go this way, but I'm very happy that this is the path.
She didn't expect it to go this way. We could say that she was driving it in this direction. I want to get married. I want to marry a Middle Eastern man. 90 Day Fiance, trying to get engaged to Nada without Nada even knowing. Like, this was not a surprise. She made all the moves in this direction to get this exact outcome. This is not a surprise. This is not a surprise at all. That's why she set her Tinder, not WhatsApp, on global, probably specifically the Middle East, because this is exactly where she wanted her life to go.
Path that's been set out for me, and I'm going to embrace every moment of it. So while I do miss some things, it's nice to look back and go, oh, this was funny, that's the extent it goes for me, really. And
as she touches a hijab, wishing, God, I wish I could walk around with this thing off my head. I wish I had the freedom of not having to wear this, but now I've got myself in a position, and I've said it so many times, that I choose to wear this. I don't want to have to explain why. I want to just rip it off and be free and cool and untethered.
Anyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome as long as you're respectful. If you say something,
No, just don't question her motives. Don't question it. Just roll with it. You can phrase a question as respectfully as you want, but if she doesn't like the tone, she's gonna block it. So it's not. Not everyone is welcome. You got to toe the line.
to me, like, I know a lot of people were upset about being blocked and it's isolating your audience. It's isolating a part of audience that's been toxic a lot of time and doesn't want the best for me. So for me,
There were plenty of trolls in her chat that didn't want the best for her, but she kept them around because they gave the appearance. It's like, oh, let's go to McDonald's at 2:00 in the morning. Let's order more food. Call Nada. Snipe Nada. Do this. Go get some gummies. Let's have it. There would be people in her chat that she would be like, cool, we're just hanging out. And they were doing things that were detrimental to her. So she doesn't even understand who is looking out for her best interest. It's not me.
I will take that loss because it helps me mentally. So, and as a creator, I have a right to do that. I have a right to choose who I want in this space at any time that I find suitable.
Oh, she absolutely does. You can pick and choose. You can create a HUD box. You can block people you don't like. You can block trolls. You can block people you do like if you just don't like the look of their profile picture. You can do whatever you want. But don't sit there and say you're doing it for one reason when it's clear it's for another. Don't lie and be fake. Just say, I don't want to hear that because I don't like to hear it. So I'm blocking that person because the truth stings.
So that's it. Thank you for your question, Kimby. All right, Indica Brownie asked, how difficult was the decision to become a revert? What has been the biggest challenge in that process? I'm always curious about different religions and how they came to be. Also, why is it referred to as a revert and not a convert? Sorry if that's a stupid question. Well, Indica Brownie, I'm not going to lie and say there's no such thing as stupid questions, because there are, but yours is not one of them. It's never stupid to ask about something that you don't have much understanding.
I'm going to do it. That little hand motion and the little rocky, literally, I heard it in my head going, little joke. That's what that said to me.
I am totally tolerant of those kind of questions. I'm
She's
still
not
learning
tolerant.
myself about Islam. I mean, I'm a new revert. But the short answer is no, it wasn't difficult.
Okay, I'm going to answer this. I'm just going to translate that because I speak Fupa. Basically, the answer is I don't know what reversion really means. I just use that because I've been told that's the correct term to use. It wasn't a hard decision because I was trying to impress Salah and he likes his women to cover up. So I decided to cover up because I needed to land a man. I needed to get the man. And this man required me to cover my body, even though literally I found it difficult to find clothing that was modest because I was dressing so immodestly. I had to wear a blanket on FaceTime with him because I didn't have any clothing of my own choosing that covered me up enough to his liking. I started wearing a head covering, i.e., a hijab, before I was a Muslim because I was trying to be culturally, not religiously, culturally sensitive to this man. I did not choose it on my own. I wear it because it means something to him. There you go. I translated it.
Okay, I should say yes and no, it is. The decision to revert, to become Muslim, to take the Shahada was not the difficult part. That was very easy because, you basically just need to acknowledge, you need to have basic understanding of Islam, but you also need to accept and swear to the fact that there's only one God and that Muhammad is his messenger. So I completely agree with that. The hard part for me is being a Muslim sometimes. I want to be a good Muslim, but it's very, very hard. Certain things, keeping my character, not breaking my character, not letting hate and anger into my heart.
But she's not breaking her character. That's the thing. She's not breaking her character. That is her character. Her character is nastiness. Her character is slandering people. It is talking poorly about people. It's saying nasty, vile shit about people. She's not breaking character. she's completely wearing herself when she behaves that way, because that's who she is. Breaking character is when she tries to contain it and hold it in and do this thing. Now, could being a Muslim be helpful to her? Yes, if she truly understood what it was. Less like any religion, if you try to take in the teachings, because the teachings are generally pretty good, they teach you to be kind, compassionate, do to others, look after one another, think of others before yourself, all the basic good human being stuff. But I don't, she didn't, the one thing that I would have been looking for in an answer from someone to say, I've changed from this religion and I've reverted to Islam, is that I felt it in my heart. I felt a change. I could feel it in my being that I believe in this religion. I believe that I would be better off in my heart following Muhammad or Allah. She just was like, she was talking about it from the mindset, like, I've just decided. I would feel like it's more of like a connection, and she just uses those words, but she didn't answer it in that way. But I mean, it's her reason for reverting. She can revert for whatever reason she wants. But for me, it doesn't ring true.
Things like this, even the makeup thing. I'm wearing light makeup, but there's rules. There's guide.
Now, I did listen to Ninja Mummy. She did do a video about makeup and Islam. And she said, as long as the makeup doesn't create a barrier between Allah and the person and being able to pray, because you do I think it's pronounced voodoo or voodoo. That's how she says it. I can't say it properly. Voodoo. When you wash it, you've got to be able to take it off. But if you've got makeup on, waterproof makeup shouldn't be worn because you can't penetrate. Like, you need to cleanse the skin and the face. So if the makeup can't be removed, or if it creates a barrier between the water and the skin, that's not okay. That's not can be used. So there is makeup that is considered halal. So she could be wearing non-waterproof makeup that's considered halal, but I don't know if she does. But you can wear makeup. It's fine. You just got to wear the right type, and you still got to do your wudu for 5 times a day. So I wouldn't be putting makeup on 5 different times a day. Not a full beat anyway. Maybe some mascara and lipstick, but that's about it.
Lines set by Allah that are sometimes challenging, and I'm sure most Muslims feel this way. So I'm just trying to do my best and repent when I can. And servants to Allah. Thank you, Indica Brownie, for your question. I hope that answers it. Chickadee. Hi, Chantal. Oh, new series. Nice. I will be watching. Also, yes, thank you. Question. Did you ever think of putting out a special fragrance with Salah? Can he have a special scent made to order, or does he only have access to pre-made perfumes? Because that would be cool if you could have special scent of your own creation mixed and sold. Chickadee, I don't know if you saw, we do have a Beezer perfume that's in the room.
I'm going to fast forward this bit because I don't care.
But as a Christian woman, I could marry a Muslim man and vice versa. So I
let me go back.
Yeah, but the short answer is yes. He can make to profit, and the short answer is yes. He can make any sense he wants to. They're not pre-made. Squeaky from. Do you think it was necessary for you to become Muslim to marry Salah? Like, if he was fine with you not converting, would you have been fine marrying him as you were?
The answer is no. I don't care what she says. The answer is no. She would not have decided to do this on her own. If Salah had never come into the question, she would never have reverted to Muslim. She would never have started wearing a hijab. She would never have started wearing a bias. The only reason she wears any of those is because Salah is in the picture. Flat out, straight up, no question.
So I actually made the choice to become Muslim. Salah is Muslim, but it wasn't like a requirement. Like, at first when I met him, I was like, I'm Christian. Is that a problem? And he was like, no, that's totally fine. Christians, and Muslims can marry. I mean, a Muslim woman has to marry a Muslim man, but as a Christian woman, I could marry a Muslim man.
Have you ever seen a Christian woman walking around in a hijab? Other than as like a visitor or a tourist in another country and wearing it out of respect because you're in another country, not while you're sitting in Canada in your bedroom on FaceTime or live streaming, because it's not a requirement. It was okay for us to see your hair. Like, she started behaving like a Muslim, a full-fledged Muslim, before she had even was 2 days engaged to this man. She's talking shit.
And vice versa. So it was a conversation though, like, you know, he would have just loved for me to of course learn more about Islam and become Muslim. So
So
I
she
kind of
did.
just like made that decision on my own. So it wasn't a requirement for him to do it, just like wearing hijab is. You know, he prefers me to be covered, of course, but if I was like, absolutely, I don't want to do this, I think he would be okay with it.
Do we remember her going off about the guy who didn't want to date her because she was fat? He goes, I like him a little fat, but you're too fat. And she was like, well, you can just F right off with all of that. You can't tell me what to do. No one can tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. I'll be fat. I'll get fatter. She went off. She does what she wants to do. She hates the hijab. She's hot. She's overwhelmed. She doesn't like to cook. She's always fiddling with it. It's clear she's uncomfortable wearing it, but she's only wearing it because it is something that he obviously has made a big deal about. And if she wasn't wearing it, it would be a problem. But it's also probably because she's got little chicken hairs. I think it's because she's vain. I think she wears it out of vanity. I don't think she wears it because she likes it or it's culturally important. I think it's a great way to cover her chins and cover her hair.
Especially like I'm not required to be Muslim. This is all my own spiritual learning on my own. But him being Muslim really helped.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Because she wasn't interested in Islam beforehand. She hadn't spoken about it. She hadn't looked into it. She wasn't wearing this kind of thing before she met Salah. Before she was engaged to Salah, she had no interest in it. She didn't dress like that for Nada. She wasn't dressing like that for Metin. She didn't dress like this for Bibi. It's crap. It's absolutely crap. It's all for Salah.
We do prayer together. It's really nice. And it connects us on a more spiritual level.
Yes, we see your ring. We see it.
It's also still a cultural thing as well. A lot of this, Kuwait has become a lot more open than a lot of different countries, you know. So in the Middle East, so I think, so you do see women who are Muslim and not covered. I honestly, in public, have yet to see so many. Most of the women I see are dressed in black and they wear niqab. That's like the majority of the women I see here. Muslim women. But there are some who are more, you know, have different ideology and everything like that. You know, it's traditionally women, Muslim women are ordered by Allah to cover at least their hair, cover their body, their hair, dress modest. So, or be veiled. So I think he would prefer me to
fiddling.
Cover myself.
The fiddling.
I don't think it would be like a super requirement for him. It wouldn't be a deal breaker.
I don't think it would be a deal breaker, but we haven't probably discussed it and I'm just guessing. So I'm just going to keep wearing it, even though I'm clearly uncomfortable and hate it.
Because I wasn't covered and I wasn't Muslim when I met him. So, you know, Donnie asked.
But you immediately started covering up. Immediately. It wasn't like it was a week, 2 weeks, a month, a couple of months, because you hadn't even known him that long. It was within 2 days you were covering yourself up. So absolutely a lie. Absolutely wrong.
Thank you for your question. Donnie asked, cost of living in Kuwait. The cost of living in Kuwait is,
how would she know? Salah pays for everything. He's got the card. He's got the money. She doesn't spend it. Any of her. She wouldn't even know. How would she know? Is he giving her the receipts? Is he giving her the bills? Why would he? He's the man of the house. He's got all the money. She wouldn't even need to know the little woman. She's taken care of.
Say more affordable than Canada. One, we don't have to pay taxes here. Like there's no income tax. There's no sales tax. So there's no tax at all. So that automatically is a big difference. You can find apartments for a lot cheaper than in Canada as well, like a lot cheaper, of course.
Then what? So for me, when you say you can find apartments for a lot cheaper than in Canada, that would mean that you could find nice apartments for a lot cheaper for the comparably same nice apartments. So she would be paying more in Canada for the shit tit they're currently living in. Is that what she's saying? Because it's comparative. Nice for nice. Just because the place they're living in maybe costs 300 Canadian dollars to live in a month does not mean it's of a higher standard of an apartment that you can pay for $300 Canadian a month, even if you can get something like that. I would expect to be paying maybe $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month for an apartment in Canada would be okay, nice one. I do not think they're living in a comparable accommodations. They're just living in low cost, dilapidated housing. I don't think she understands how things. I don't think she understands. I don't think she knows or she cares to know.
Petrol gas is so cheap. It's maybe like $20 on like a 6-cylinder. His Honda's like 6-cylinder. It's like,
but what about the cost of cheese? What about the cost of fresh fruit and veg? What about things like milk? What about things that a normal agricultural town or country would have easy access to because they have farming land where they can have livestock and fresh ingredients? You're probably paying hardly anything for gas, but you're paying absolute premium prices for anything fresh and green or agricultural goods like cheese, dairy, fibers, wool, meat, those things that have to be imported. You're probably paying out the arse.
$20 for like a week of like straight driving. Like we drive quite a lot, so it's so cheap. But it's an oil country, right? So food is cheaper, a lot cheaper. You can get like,
takeaway food that is of poor quality is very cheap. It is very cheap. In America, Canada, McDonald's is cheap as shit. And that's what she eats, a lot of takeaway food. She's not eating wholesome, whole foods that are good for you. She's eating the rough end of the takeaway business. That's why food is cheap. It's not because she's eating good quality food.
like a bag of 100 falafel. Is falafel? I don't know. What's the plural of falafel? The word falafel has now lost all meaning. You know when you say something so much. Anyway,
it isn't. I don't know.
For like, I think it's like 1 kd, so like $4 for like 100 falafels. Where I used to get like 6 for like what?
I would never. Why? Like, who needs 100 falafel? Who's eating 100 falafel? 100 fresh falafels? Like, like that's is falafels the currency in Kuwait? Because she's either eating a crap ton of it like every single day, 100. So if she's having 4 sandwiches a day with 4 falafels on it each, so that's 16 a day over 7 days. Yeah, she probably would need nearly 100 falafels a day. 100 falafels in a week.
But $10. So it's like super more affordable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's so fortunate that she's not having to pay out the ass for falafels. I mean, God, there's a food shortage. People are food insecure, but yeah, great. 100 falafels, $4.
Gold is cheaper and it's higher quality carrots.
Yeah, the higher the quality carrots, the less the integrity of the gold. You've got soft gold on there. It is a dress ring, not a wedding ring. Wedding rings are generally designed to be hardy and hard wearing. That's why it doesn't get damaged and scratched and bent out of shape. That's why you usually get 9 or 18 karat gold. Yeah, you idiot. And it's ugly as fuck, that ring.
Like this is 21.
It's ugly.
Karat gold. So it's super affordable in a lot of ways, for sure.
Yeah, because I don't know, when I'm going to Woolies and I'm getting my milk and my bread and my eggs, I'm really satisfied within myself that I know that I can afford that and 24 karat gold rings, but they're out of my price budget. I'm trying to feed my kids, but you know what? I'm really sitting around bitching about the cost of 24 karat gold and how I'm not allowed to afford such a luxury item. You really are living the high life in Kuwait over there, Chantal. I mean, where you can just pick up 24 karat gold just like that. Yep, that's awesome. Idiot.
Pretty much mostly everything. Kanita Metovic asks, where do you plan to travel? So inshallah, we want to go to KSA or
listen to the places that she lists off here.
Saudi Arabia. We want to go travel around the Middle East, different parts of the Middle East. I don't know, maybe Bahrain, Qatar, like fully explore it. I've been there like in transit from the one airport to another, but it looks like a really cool place too. Maybe UAE, like Dubai, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Maldives. We want to go to, like, if I get really fit, if I successfully get super fit to a point where I could trek a long enough way, we both want to really do Everest Base Camp. I've always had this weird dream.
Has she ever, before Salah, once talked about climbing a mountain or going to Everest? She only started talking about this after Salah. This is Salah's dream. It's not Foodie's. Foodie has no fucking interest in moving in general. She wouldn't be giving shit. She'd still be eating herself to death in a little chair in the villa if Salah hadn't come along. She wouldn't be giving shit. She would have tagged on to somebody else. She would have latched on. We would have had a completely different arc. Everest would not even be a thought in her mind. But all the places that she listed off there were countries that are close to where she is, in the Middle Eastern area. Hop, skip, and a jump, basically. Because you've got to remember that Foodie has to leave Kuwait for a certain amount of time before she can re-enter to restart her another 90-day visa. So all of those places would be easy for Salah to travel to, easy to go, stay, and leave. He speaks Arabic, he understands the language, and his Syrian passport would get him around those Middle Eastern countries okay. The Maldives is the only one that's out of a little bit further away, but they have talked about that before. But that's probably just, a fantasy, a dream. I don't see them going to the Maldives. But she needs to go somewhere for an amount of time before she can come back. So she doesn't want to get too far from home because it's more expensive. Salah probably can't go. And his money, their money, is worth more in those countries. Or it's about the same. Or Thailand. Their money's going to be worth a lot more, and he can easily travel in and out. There's no desire to travel. She needs a safe haven to go to so she can restart her visa. Oh, she's going to hate it.
Wanting to go see Everest. And he does too. So that'll be my celebratory trip. Yeah, I'm afraid
it'll never happen. It'll never happen.
I guess I can take something for that. Midnight, thank you for your question. Midnight Majesty asked, what do you use to edit your videos? So
I don't care about this question either. It's a nothing question.
Honestly, I'm going to answer that, but between Kuwait and Canada, I think would be perfect. I think that would be perfect. I would probably want to live in the UAE, or I definitely like living in the Middle East. So either the Canada or the Middle East is probably where I would want to live for sure. I'm not really sure. Like, I haven't really explored other countries' possibilities, but
the international world traveler has not thought to explore other countries, just Canada and Middle East. These are the only two places that she wants to go. But she wants to travel the world. She wants to see everything, but she can't think of anywhere else because she hasn't been anywhere else. She only is interested in the places that can benefit her. And at the moment, Salah in the Middle East benefit her. So that's where her focus is. Everything else is peripheral. Nothing else matters. There's so much world to see, but she'll never get to see any of it.
Oh, maybe there's some cool European countries that would be nice to live in, but definitely between Canada and the Middle East would be cool. Jules, hey sweetie, I understand women in Kuwait have to wear hijabs, but is that all the time or just in public? I'm asking because I notice you wear yours in your videos from home as well, so I'm just curious. Thanks, and just keep on doing you, girl. So here, hijab.
Oh, I don't want to hear her talking about this because it's the same question she answered before.
For that reason. Thanks for your question. Kiwi 33. Are you happy? That's all I want to know. I hope the answer is a giant yes. Kiwi
now,
33, thanks.
Watch her face, watch her expression, and listen to her voice. And at the end, I'll let you decide whether you think Foodie is happy or not.
Thank you. I'm really confused at how a lot of people, and I'm not directing this at you, Kiwi, because I do peripherally hear and see that people question my happiness.
She doesn't see it peripherally. She deliberately Googles certain reactors and watches what they say in here. She's not accidentally coming across it. It's not like she trips and falls and it's like, oh, a reaction. She actively seeks it out. She's watching it like you're watching this. She's bullshit.
They think that I have to be back on my kitchen chair, in my whole mess just to be, or high or whatever, just to be.
We didn't think she was happy then either. We don't think she is a happy person because she doesn't behave in a happy way. She doesn't say happy things. She doesn't do happy things. We can see that she's depressed and mentally fucked up. She hasn't been happy for a long time at all. Happy people don't have some of the habits that she has. Her addictions are a sign of something else. She can have happy moments in between, but down at the root, the core of the day, she doesn't come across as happy because she doesn't behave in a happy way. Whoops, hope everybody's okay. Sorry, bump the mic. But she doesn't, I'm talking with my hands like Chantal. She's not happy. She can have moments of happiness where she's giggling and laughing and making jokes and thinks she's funny, but from day to day, she is a miserable person.
Be happy, and I wasn't happy then at all.
No one thought you were.
Yes, I would say with a ginormous yes. I am super, super happy. 100%. Yeah, for sure. I mean, life still has ups and downs. I'm not going to be ecstatic every day, and I'm still going through hardships and growing as a person. So, but generally, yeah.
I remember she said that when she moved to Kuwait to be with Salah the first time, somebody asked her, but what about your depression? What about your medication? What about that, all that stuff? And she's like, well, I'm going to be too happy. It's all just going to go away because I'm going to be too happy. I won't even have time to think about it because I'll be too happy. So basically saying going to Kuwait, well, this is how I interpret it, not basically saying, and this is what that says to me. I'm going to go there and I'm going to be so happy because this man is so perfect. It's going to erase everything that I've said and done. It's a new life, a new chapter, a new day. And all my mental health problems are just going to be wiped away because I am going to be filled with happiness. And did that happen? No. She still got depression, which we knew she would have. Still has mood swings, which we knew that it was not going to be the magical answer, but she was assured it was. And I think the reality is that it's not. Kuwait and Salah are not going to fix essentially her issues.
Thanks for your question. New York Stiletto asked, have you been taking your medication properly? How does it work? Do you go to doctors to get prescriptions? So thank you for your question.
No, she doesn't.
So it's a bit different here. I think some medications require prescriptions, I should say. But honestly, the medications I need, my inhaler, which by the way takes Symbicort, inhaler for my asthma. And I have recently restarted. I actually came off of I'm on and off about antidepressants, but I have to realize I need them. Like, I just restarted them actually yesterday. So, I literally, Salah will go into a pharmacy, any pharmacy here, and just say what I need. Like I said, I need Cypralex.
I Googled Cypralex, and the information that I read, it is for anxiety, panic disorders, and OCD, and it can be used for the treatment of antidepressant. Because often anxiety and depression you find them together because of the way that it works. Depression and anxiety usually sit together. They're little bosom buddies, like peas and carrots, like Boris and Jeannie. So it's generally more so for panic disorders and anxiety. She's using it however she's self-diagnosed herself with OCD and anxiety. She may have it, social anxiety, whatever. But yeah, and what she's saying here is that it makes you drowsy for the first couple of days or week or so. But if you continue to feel drowsy, you shouldn't. So that's probably why she looks a bit sluggish and a bit slowed down and a bit tired. That could be from the medication, and that's normal. But she doesn't have a physician that's monitoring her that has prescribed this amount. She's literally just decided that this is the amount that she should be taking, and how often we don't know. She's not, so it seems, under a treating physician. She's just literally walked in and got it without a prescription. So, and it may not even be the right medication for what's happening with her. That's why she probably needs to talk to a doctor. And I did actually ask, because a lot of the times with antidepressant and anti-anxiety medications, that a lot of them will have the side effect of weight gain. Yes, they will. And guess what? This one has the side effect of potentially making you put on a moderate to low amount of body weight. It can slow down weight loss. So that's maybe something that she would know about had she gone to see a doctor, or she had a conversation with the pharmacist, who would have looked at this little 5'1", 450-pound woman and gone, oh, because pharmacists are pretty much doctors in Foodie's words, said, well, maybe this one isn't for you because, if you've got some weight issues, I maybe would not recommend this kind of medication for you. And there is another side effect with this rug, that they don't often prescribe it to teenagers or certain vulnerable peoples, because it can, over the long term, have the side effect of creating suicidal thoughts for them. So again, in conjunction with a doctor, they may have not prescribed something like this to Foodie because she has had those kinds of thoughts in her past, so she says, and may not be the right prescription for her. But we're not in Kuwait. We are not the ones, we are not professionals, but perhaps a doctor would be a great idea to put in the mix when taking medications. Just saying.
Milligrams, for example. And you get your medication. It's as simple as that. I'm
And it
surprised.
shouldn't
The
be.
pharmacist is very knowledgeable and will go through a lot of details, side effects, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So they're almost like a doctor.
Almost, but
They really
not.
find what you need. But yeah, it's super affordable. It's like the name brand Cypralex in Canada was like $80 or something like that. Here
She is sitting bitching about the cost of much needed medication, maybe another medication she'd need, maybe not this one, but the cost of medication in Canada. Okay. She's sitting there for months and months and months, years and years, spending up to $3,000 a month on takeaway food, which is part of her addiction. But she wouldn't even spend $80 on, however, say a month's worth of medication to help with her mental health. $3,000 on food, but wouldn't spend $80 on medication to help get through life better and help her heal. She wouldn't spend $400 or $200 a session on a therapist to help her improve and better her life, but she'll spend $3,000 a month on food. Okay. But now that she's in the Middle East and it costs $4 a box, aces.
it's like 4 kd, like, or something, or like maybe I think it was like 8 kd. I think Salah said, like, maybe. So yeah, like not very expensive, like 30 something. So like, I don't know. But yeah, so really not expensive at all. So different, so different. And you can just walk into a pharmacy if they have it, and it's not something that's on their like controlled substance list. I guess depression is pretty common, more common than I thought. So therapy.
I would assume, I would extrapolate from that the reason that they make these antidepressants or anxiety and panic disorders medications over-the-counter drugs is because that people are not abusing them or using them systemically like they do in other countries where they are put under a controlled substance because they are not abused. Now, I'm not going to say that in Kuwait that there are less people with depression or there are more people with depression. I would say that there are more people who do not take medication for their depression. Therefore, it is not in high demand. Therefore, it is not abused. And that is why you can buy it over the counter like cold medication, because they don't see it as a high risk, because it is not being used dangerously. People are not overdosing on it. People are not misusing it, because there are some stigmas in some Middle Eastern countries regarding mental health and the treatment of mental health. So therefore, it's not considered a dangerous drug because people stay away from it because of the stigma, not because there are so many depressed people that they need it to be cheap and easily accessible. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thought. That's just how I would think about it. I could be absolutely 100% wrong, and Foodie could be completely 100% right. But I'm just putting my perspective forward.
He is very, very, very pricey, but they do have a psychiatric hospital here. But these pills, I think, will, once I'm back on them, I honestly, that's why I feel tired when I first get back on them, and it gets into my system again. But I have to, now that I have cheap, easy access to them, I am just going to stay on them because I'll do.
And again, she had access to them in Canada, and she had the funds to pay for the price. In comparison to her income, where they were completely affordable for her. They may not have been affordable for the average person on the average wage, but they were certainly affordable for Chantal. So the price comparison to the income she has now, to comparison to the price that she paid and the income she had then, is basically the same. She's got fuck all money now. She hasn't got to pay a lot for a medication. She was making a really, really decent income, and she had the money that she could afford the medication. That's not a good comparison.
10 milligrams until I start to feel they're not working anymore. And then honestly, when I would go for a follow-up with a psychiatrist to monitor my medication, and they would just ask me the same basic questions the pharmacist would ask, like, how do you feel? Blah, blah, blah. Like little things like that anyone can ask, so.
She really clearly understands how therapists and psychiatrists work because she spent a lot of time with them. They need to gauge, they need to set a baseline for you. And that's why they ask you the same questions, because then they can gauge up and down improvements. A therapist is where the real work happens. The psychiatrist gauges you and then prescribes you prescriptions. And then in turn, they may be a therapist as well. But Foodie, such a dum-dum.
I'm very happy about that. Very, very happy. I need my medication. Like if I'm not on it, it's like night and day for me. You can really tell. Like
we really, really, really can't tell. And that's the truth. Like we don't know when she's on them. Nothing changes for us. She is the same. She may not feel the same on the inside, but what's happening on the outside, I cannot tell the difference between when she's on or off her medication. Because we can see when she's manic and when she's just raging and angry and just off it. But we can't really see too much of a difference to when she's on them. The mania may not be present, but her personality is still relevant, and her reactions and her being mean and cruel. But the mania tends to go away. But we can't tell the difference because she's not doing live streams now. So we're not going to be able to know whether she's on it or off it because these are edited. She can edit the crazy parts out.
Oh man, my mood swings are so crazy, and yeah, it's so hard.
Poor Salah is getting the brunt of those.
I'm working on it, but it's very hard.
How is she working on it? Taking a tablet's not going to fix that, though.
I think I've answered this.
It's going to help, but not fix it.
Through other questions. A lot of the questions are the same. You guys want to know, am I happy here? When am I going home? I don't have a foreseeable date.
We know she's not going back to Canada. Boring.
To falling in love. Sometimes it's instant. Some near the beginning of November. Marrying. But
this one I wanted to talk about
when I find out. Thanks, PR. Kanita Metovic asked, how did you and Salah meet? How long did you know each other before marrying? Okay, so.
Yeah, okay. This is another version of what she says happened. And she does change the details once again.
The short of it is we met in October, the beginning of October, and we married at the beginning of November. Near the beginning of November.
That's not crazy at all, guys. How cute is that? That's so sweet. We met, we fell in love. It was great. I moved to a whole nother country to marry and meet a stranger. Not dangerous at all, not scary. No. She was engaged to him after 2 days, not after a month, after 2 days. She spoke to him for a couple of hours online and decided, yeah, we're going to get married because he's the one. Mind you, a couple of days earlier with Metin, she was in love with him. 24 hours later, they'd broken up. He's not her boyfriend anymore. But then immediately after, she's found Salah, another soulmate, another I'm in love. First offer, just wanted to get married, desperate to get married, but he's the one. Yes, married, engaged in 2 days, married speculatively within a month. She was physically in Kuwait saying she was married after a month. That's how we phrase it.
Yeah. So 1 month, we knew each other, but I don't know.
They told each other stuff. I don't think they knew each other. They had told each other things about each other.
Oh, to me, there's no time frame to falling in love. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes I think developing a relationship, sure, it takes time, but
but marriage, there's a difference between falling in love quickly and then deciding to marry someone quickly. You usually have to develop trust, understand their background, know their moods, how they are when they're sick, when they're angry, how they're going to respond if you make a mistake, how judgy they are, whether they're physically aggressive or elusive or not, how they treat other people in their world. There is so much to getting to know someone. It's very different from falling in love. Like, I love this person, and then getting into a relationship because you fall in lust with Salah. Gross. But you fall in lust and then you fall in love and then you fall into like the relationship flow. But not this one. 2 days, we're engaged, getting married, going to Kuwait. You're all liars. Yes, we're in love. I'm going to Kuwait. It wasn't the love. It's not the love story she's trying to create. They didn't build that relationship. She decided after 2 days she's going to Kuwait to marry this man. It was an insane move by anybody's measure.
Just do things fast. I kind of live fast.
She did the same thing with Nada. Within 3 weeks, she's stalking the man. With Metin, within 24 hours, we're in love. He's my boyfriend. She's done this with a lot of people. The only person it was slow with was BB, and eventually he dumped her.
And it's hard to explain. Like I said, the story about it, you know, a lot of people will think it's not, you know, it's just BS because it sounds so, you know, it sounds far fetched. But honestly, I put my number on WhatsApp. I was fed up. I stopped
It
looking
doesn't sound far-fetched. It sounds insane. Absolute insane. It's on Tinder. It wasn't WhatsApp. It was Tinder.
at DMs. I said, I'm tired. God, please send me somebody who will take care of me and be the opposite of the abusive partner I was with before that. Please, please, please. I'm tired of these random meaningless datings and whatever else.
She was seeking that. See, this is the thing. She was deliberately looking for someone to just hook up with. That's what she put out. She didn't want these she wanted a relationship, but she was putting out that she just wanted casual encounters because she didn't think that she'd be able to find someone or land someone. So the only way to get interaction was to say, yeah, I'm cool, I'm casual, I'm flexible, I don't need a man's. And then she would sit there, I don't think I want to get married. I don't think I want a husband. Oh no, I do. I do want a family and I do want a husband. She would flip and flop. So then what does she do? She gets on Tinder. She sets her radar to global, probably the Middle East specifically, to catch herself a man. It didn't happen by circumstance. It was just happen chance, I should say, serendipity. She specifically sought someone just like Sala out. And then she found him and he sought someone out like Chantal and he found her. And then the two of them, their plans just happened to be perfectly commingled. So they found each other, but not in the romantic sense, in the scammy scammerson sense. She needed someone to scam. He needed someone to scam. They made a scam sandwich. A ham scam sandwich.
What that message from Salah. And it was sweet, you know, sweet message. And it was just.
So the first guy to send her a sweet message, she'd married.
From there, it just grew and grew and grew every day. We spent hours a day, you know. So I would say it was
hours getting to know each other.
A short amount of time.
Then we decided to get married.
Timeline wise. But each day we would video and spend time getting to know each other for the whole day, hours and hours and hours. So we grew.
When was he working? Didn't he have a job? So he didn't sleep. He just worked and talked to Foodie. In 24 hours, that's all he did. That sounds like crap.
Closer together with every hour that we spent together. So it felt a lot longer that I knew him because of the quality time we spent together.
Watching Jim Carrey movies.
It was basically a month, and then I was married.
She looks up and she goes, I got a man in a month, losers. Yeah, okie dokes.
Which honestly is not something totally out of character for myself. I don't know.
Yeah, dangerous, poor decision making is her brand. That's how she lives her life. Poor decision making. In my opinion.
This is a joke one, and I'm going to end with this one for now.
Oh, this is juicy.
Mimi's a beezer who makes me laugh. See, I love beezers who make me laugh. I don't. I need people there for me.
Boring.
People don't, people who don't make you feel bad or berate you or are just there for you.
She said unconditional. No, I don't believe in unconditional love. I believe that you love people that treat you a certain way and act a certain way, and that continues you loving them. When people change that and it becomes toxic or nasty or abusive, then you stop caring for that person. Absolutely. The things people do and say is why you love them. I don't believe in I don't even believe in unconditional love from a parent. You can feel sympathy and love, but if your child turns out to be like a mass serial killer or something like that, that's going to change the way you feel. And I'm not saying it should, and it absolutely has to, but I feel like it could. If there's one thing that could stop unconditional love, it would be something like that. Watching you on the internet is not something unconditional support would get from me. If you act like a dick, you're done. I would reserve that for not even for my husband, for my direct blood family and my children. They're the only ones who would dare to expect unconditional love from me. Absolutely. But no, unconditional support from someone on the internet, that's a lot to ask, especially with the behavior that Chantal has exhibited. That's a ballsy ask, that one.
Make you laugh. I like people like that in my life,
People who ignore her bad behavior.
I made a comment about Sears, like a derogatory comment about people wearing clothes from Sears.
And that was directed to moi. I was in her open chat and she saw my name. Oh, Doe-eyed Cookie, get her out of here. She's got the worst taste and her style is terrible. Why don't you go shop at Sears? First of all, I don't even know who fucking Sears was at the time. I didn't even know if I should be insulted. I've now been schooled and found out that Sears is basically like a Kmart, a low cost discount department store. And in Foodie's words, sells beige, ugly clothes. So it was to insult me, basically. Now, the fact that Foodie hates my style is a blessing, because if she liked my style, I would have to go and get myself a personal styling consult. You know how a therapist has a therapist? Someone like myself who likes to dress a certain way and has my own certain taste, I would have to have that reconfigured, because if she liked what I was doing, I would be concerned that I've gone in the wrong direction, or something has shifted and I've not noticed. Because this one's opinion on what I wear, oh no, I would not be taking advice from this one. But that's where the Sears comment comes from. She hates Sears. And I shop from Kmart, I shop from Myers, I shop from David Jones, Suzanne's, Target, Best and Less, thrift stores. I buy from wherever I like clothes, whether it's high cost or low cost. I don't care. I don't care. But the idea was to say that I'm a broke bitch and I only choose to buy low cost discounted clothes from a broke ass discount store. Now, Chantal, I ask you, are you buying your abayas and your hijabs from the Kuwaiti version of Sears? Because you wear drab, boring, beige clothing as well, that don't flatter you, that don't suit you, that look cheap as shit. Or they could be super expensive and luxurious and you just make them look crappy. Because after all, the face is the perfect accessory.
And I was angry, so I just said it. I think I have a vendetta against Sears because I used to have to.
And now here's her attempt to look cute and cutesy and dumb it down when she'd try to insult somebody in her chat. Me, don't care. I was evicted from that chat immediately after that, by the way. And now she's just trying to make it like it's a throwaway comment, and I was just being silly, and she's a cutesy tootsy, and she gives a personal anecdotal stories to try and make it seem like this is why she would make such a comment, and she was not cost shaming or clothes shaming or income shaming around Sears. This is why she hates Sears.
To wear the clothes so often, like between that and JCPenney as a kid growing up, people might like my step grandmother would always, even my mom, like they would take me to Sears a lot. Sears was like the thing back when I was growing up. I was born in 1984.
She has Sears trauma, guys. She's traumatized by Sears.
So the mall would have a Sears, like every mall would have a Sears, like they have like a one department store in every huge mall. Well, ours was Sears or JCPenney. So Sears, they always made me wear the ugliest. Like to me, I didn't care about clothes. I wanted Barbies. So I was always like, all these clothes.
Has she got Vaseline on her teeth? What's going on with her teeth? They look really shiny and really rigid. What's going on? Is it just the lighting?
Kids' clothes are ugly. They're all matching like purple top, purple corduroys, or stirrup pants. You remember those? So I didn't like getting clothes. So I would always they would always make me bypass the Barbie section and go for the clothes because I needed clothes, right? Every school season starting. And Sears was just so drabby to me. There was just something about it. It was like department store
drabby. It's beige and drabby.
Everything was beige, brown, appliances, clothes. I saw the toy departments like sometimes, but I didn't get a Barbie every time we went, and I always wanted a Barbie.
Do we think she got a Barbie every time she went? Do we think she either got food or toys every time they went to the department store? This one, I think so.
And the cafeteria food was pretty crappy, but now that I look back on it, it makes me nostalgic to remember like the juice, the grape and red juice in those like coolers and like
again, we started off on a story talking about Sears and we've moved straight to reminiscing about food. She is food centric. This is an addict frame of mind. This is the addict, every one of her memories is attached to food in some way. She remembers the taste, the smells, where she was, whether it was good or it was bad, or what day it was served, or an experience around it. She's very food centric.
Rice pudding, like cafeteria rice pudding or Jell-O. and then like just fries with like lumpy gravy. Yeah, the food was pretty crappy. So I don't know. There's just something about Sears that just I don't like. I don't know what it is. But same as
It wasn't the fact that she was trying to insult somebody in her chat regarding clothing and the cost of clothing and the way that they look. It's she has a personal trauma. So she hates Sears. So that's the first thing she thinks of when she thinks of clothing. Okay.
Zellers, Kmart, Zellers, Sears. I don't know. There's just something about department stores. I just makes me.
You know what my theory is that she doesn't like department stores is because they are generally for the average size person, and she wouldn't be able to walk in there and buy something. And that's not to fat shame her, but that is because I would have that exact same experience. I wouldn't even bother shopping in those places because I knew that they wouldn't have anything for me. I would be going to those brands that I knew that would have my size range. And growing up, Sears would have been, she was a chubby child, she's a chubby teenager, chubby adult. They would not have had good changing room experiences for her. The clothes may have not been fitted. She would have had, oh, you have to go up a couple of sizes. This is not the size for a child this age. Like it would have probably had bad experiences for her. That's why. I don't think it was the quality or the look of the clothing. I would think that it's problematic that she would not have found clothing that she liked that fit her well, and that would have bothered her. And that's why she would have hated clothing shopping. Food always fits.
I just don't like it. I don't know why. Although growing up, my favorite show was Today's Special, and it took place in a department store. So, and even that one was like a beige, boring department store. I don't know.
I don't know that show.
So thanks, Mimi, for your question.
Yeah, thanks, Mimi.
All right, guys. So that's it for the Q&A. I don't know if I'll do another part soon, but now I'm gonna get on the editing of the vlogs that I've been wanting to put up for you guys. So we're gonna have, of course, more activities on the couples vlog, and just
no one cares about the couples vlogs. I find the gym vlogs kind of funny because Salah's a dipshit, and it's funny to watch him try and be like a He-Man hunk, but and Foodie's non-gym content because she is awkward to film in the gym, even though she's a vlogging channel, and she knew going into this vlogging situation that she would have to be filming in the gym, but has decided that it's too awkward and she feels weird and she can't film anything, which all she needs to do is put it in selfie mode and then just blur everybody out in the back, or at least maybe approach the women in the gym and say, look, I'm going to be filming. If you're feeling awkward, I'm really sorry. I'll do the best I can to keep you out of shot. But if you'd like, just to let you know that I'm filming, perhaps don't walk behind me in this moment. Or if you're going to, just ask me to stop filming. I'm happy to do that. But I'm just going to be filming my experiences. Like, talk to the women. And if they don't, maybe get Salah to write it down on a piece of paper so you can hand it to people so that they can understand it if they're not English speakers. Like, you may feel awkward, but this is for your channel. This is for your revenue, and you clearly need revenue. You would need to find solutions for the problems that you're experiencing. But she doesn't. She doesn't want to film, so she just doesn't.
Mostly finishing up a lot of things left to do in Kuwait. There's a lot of things we didn't realize there are to do. So there's going to be some vlogs on it.
Now that she thinks she's fit and she's going to the gym, she's willing to attempt them.
And so just getting out more, showing you like the different culture of Kuwait with museums and parks and different cultural centers. There's the Grand Mosque. There's all kinds of different
the things people have been asking her to go and do for ages.
Things that we have done and are going to continue doing to show you. There's also a more fun side of Kuwait, but there's also my channel here plan on doing more personal related things like, day in the life and stuff like that, my Ramadan experience. So anyway, I can hear my hamster stirring. I must go tend to him. All right, guys. I thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
So just so people know, I am not going to be watching the ASMR channels because there's really nothing there to see. There's not much to see at all. There's nobody cares. But yeah, that's Foodie's Q&A. Didn't learn much, don't know much more. Again, rejigging the story. Few new little pieces there. We know she's still watching reaction channels and she's reacting because there was a few community posts that are now deleted. One regarding Breezy. So she's not quite restraining herself too much from commenting and watching. She's just not reacting outwardly on the internet to everything that's enraging her. But she's clearly at home sitting there watching and crying into her protein cereal. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe down the bottom. Let me know what you think. Anything I missed, anything that I should have commented on, or any thoughts or feelings that you have, let me know. And I'll see you in the next stream or video. Bye, guys.